Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, as usual, it's time for another class of my biology from 4. Okay, so KSSM syllabus. So thank you very much for watching. I do not know who you are, but if you want to let me know, please just write your name. I mean, just type hi teacher, and then I'll see your name on the chat box. Okay, I mean the comments. So anyway, today we're going to finish chapter 4. So chapter 3, which is the last part of chapter 3, 3.4. So today is a very short lesson. I'm going to just discuss a few examples of whereby what we have learned so far. These are the process of movement of substances across the plasma membrane using a few methods. Okay, so we have learned simple diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, and also active transport. So at the end of today's lesson, I have a few questions to let you try out. Okay, they are very simple. I've included questions because today's lesson is very short. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to share screen. Yeah. Okay, so let me just look at this. All right, I hope you can see this. Okay, so we are at 3.4, which is the movement of substances across the plasma membrane and its application in daily life. So actually, this process, okay, of movement, osmosis, whether it is facilitated diffusion or this, what you call this, active transport, they are happening every day, okay, in our life. Application is very vast. So today I'm going to look at certain examples. All right, okay, so let's look at examples of application. There are 6 examples, which is you need to know because they are in your textbook. Okay, look at these examples. Number 1 is plant wilting, the phenomenon whereby the plant wilts. In BM, we call it layu, okay? Or in Mandarin, we call it ku wei. So it's because lack of water. So the water has either evaporated too much through transpiration and the plant did not get enough water from the roots, okay? Or maybe there are certain things that you did to the plant. You put in too much of fertilizer, too high concentration of fertilizer, that will cause the plant to wilt. Okay, later we will see. Yeah. Okay, second example is ORS. ORS is a short form for oral rehydration salt. Okay, this is the kind of substance that the doctor will prescribe to you if you're having severe diarrhea, if you have food poisoning, when you always, when you have something, your tummy upset and it makes you vomit out your food and you cannot keep any liquid down. You are losing a lot of minerals from your body. So if you lose too much minerals, you're going to suffer the consequences. Okay, there are body, some processes will not be able to happen because you're losing too much of the ions. Okay, next example is isotonic drink. I'm sure many of you drink isotonic drink because they are very refreshing, especially when it's cold and after a heavy and strenuous activity. We love to drink an isotonic drink like 100 plus and so on. 100 plus is a brand name actually. If you want to talk about the type of substance you're drinking, it should be isotonic drink. Okay, 100 plus is a brand name. So there are other things like Gatorade, Lucozade, and so many. They are also, Revive is also isotonic drink. Okay, so you should use the proper term. The substance or the drink is called isotonic drink, not 100 plus. 100 plus is a brand. Okay, Saline Solution. This is basically just salt solution. Saline just means salt. Okay, so we have applications in a few examples. All right, we'll show you afterwards. Then liposome. Okay, this is probably something new to you. Okay, so this is it can be a man-made kind of a liposome, which is actually vesicles which contain certain substances that we do not want the substance to be oxidized or hydrolyzed. We're protecting the substance inside the liposome. Okay, I'll show you afterwards. And lastly, reverse osmosis, or we call it RO water. I'm sure you might have heard of RO water. When you buy your drinking water, the mineral water, not all are mineral water, Okay, there are some of them are called drinking water, or we call it RO water, okay, which is produced through a process called reverse osmosis. Not osmosis, but reverse osmosis. Okay, let's look at one by one, right? Okay, now look at plant wilting. So this diagram shows the plant, it looks turgid, all right? because the vacuum is expanded, right? It's expanding, there's water inside, so it sort of like pushes against the cell wall. So this is plant is not wilting at the moment. All right. Now what happens if you put excessive fertilizer? Okay, for example, you're too greedy, right? You want the plant to grow very fast, so you put in too much fertilizer that's very concentrated. So when the fertilizer or the substance, okay, is too concentrated, we call it it's going to be hypertonic solution. Your budget, okay, your this what you call the fertilizer. Of course, you just add water lah, but you have too little water. Okay, you did not add enough water to the plant. You just give your fertilizer as it is without diluting it. When you pour it onto the water, onto the soil, your soil will become hypertonic compared to the cell of the plant. Okay, so excessive fertilizers causes the soil water to be hypertonic to the sap cell of roots or root or the plant cell. Okay, so inside the roots is hypo, outside the cell is hyper. Okay, so as you learned earlier, you know osmosis, always hypo to hyper. Water will flow from hypo to hyper. That means from the inside, water will diffuse out. Okay, you have caused the plant to actually lose water. The water will diffuse out of the roots cell sap through the process of osmosis because you put too much budget, okay, or this fertilizer into the soil water. All right, so of course this is not good lah, right? Your plant is losing water. So what happens is the plant cells will become plasmolized. So the vacuum will shrink, water comes out, and then the plasma membrane will pull away from the cell wall. Okay, if you are not familiar with what I'm talking about, this was discussed last week. So you have a look at my previous video, the last week's video, 3.3, and you can go through it and you know what I'm talking about. I spent about almost an hour explaining that one. All right, last week was a very long, quite long lesson. I didn't want to include 3.4, otherwise it'd be too long. So today one is a relatively shorter one. Okay, so this pulls away, then it means the pressure inside the cytoplasm will be not as great as before. So now the cell will be plasmolized. The volume of the cytoplasm will be smaller. There's no pushing to there's no pressure. There is no, support to the cell. All right, so wilting occurs. Okay, so in DM we call it layu. The plant layu, right? Tumbuhan menjadi layu. And you find there's no support to the stem. So it all like everything will sort of like bend over, even the flowers and so on. Okay, so this is called plasmolysis lah, the cell. But if you want to return it back to normal, you can. Okay, you can put immediately you put water lah. You cannot leave it for too long. Wilting can be reversed when the plant is watered. Okay, of course you can't wait for half a day. You can't wait for one whole day. Okay, too much water is gone, then the plant will not be able to the condition will not be reversed even though you put back water. It must be quick enough lah, right? So the cells will deplasmolize when you put back water. That means you put pure water. You just put distilled water into the plant. Okay, water will go back into the cell and your plant will be deplasmolized. The cell will be deplasmolized. So the vacuum will expand again and it presses through the cell wall. So pressure is there. The plant will become no longer wilted. All right. Okay. So no questions here, right? So we'll just carry on. Okay. The second, here, prolonged plasmolysis causes plants to die. All right. So it cannot be too long. Okay. It cannot be too long. It has to be quite a few, as soon as possible. When you see your plant is wilting, just give distilled water. Okay. ORS. ORS stands for, this is English, yeah? ORS is this oral rehydration salt. So it's actually salt, right? But they have put the quantity to be exactly the correct quantity. You can see all these packs, ORS. I'm sure when you've seen doctor, when you went to see the doctor when you are having diarrhea or when you're having severe, cherik bedek, you vomit a lot. So the doctor will always ask you, okay, you have to take a pack of this, put into water, usually about 200 ml water, put into a glass of water and drink it up. Okay, of course not all at one go, will be too much. So just give it over a few hours. drink it up. Okay, and even for babies who are diarrhea, all can be used. All this can drink ORS. But of course, for baby, you do not give it all at one go, lah, right? Now, these people who need this ORS are people with diarrhea. Okay, diarrhea, very loose stools, losing a lot of water. They not only water that is lost, they also lose the electrolytes. That means the ions, especially potassium and sodium. They are needed for our processes in the body to occur. So through vomiting is you vomit through your mouth. All right, the contents of the stomach comes out through the mouth. And the other one called purging. Purging is the contents of your intestines coming out through the back way. You know what I mean by the back way, yeah? To the anus. So vomiting is coming out to the top, purging is going down to the bottom. All right, that means either way your body wants to expel all these things that are not agreeable to your stomach. There could be bacteria, it could be virus inside there. All right, so when you diarrhea, you're losing a lot of ions as well. And you have to replenish it. You need to add back, okay, all these ions that you're losing, okay, because if not, your body is going to suffer the consequences. You'll see afterwards what happens. All right, the concentration of RS is isotonic to the body fluid, so you'll be the same. Okay, so that's why you bancho or you put in the water. Don't put too much water. You follow instructions. Roughly about 1 glass of water is about 200 ml. Okay, that should be isotonic to your body fluids. All right, now next one. Isotonic drinks. Okay, I'm sure after a tough exercise, you're sweating a lot, everybody grabs your 100 plus, or we call it high isotonic drinks. Okay, so isotonic drinks will help the athletes to replace, very much like just our ORS, all right, loss of water and electrolytes, such as potassium and sodium through perspiration, through sweating. So what's the difference of drinking ORS and isotonic drink? Okay, the difference is in terms of the taste. All right, isotonic drink, there's sugar. It's sweet. There's glucose as well. Glucose and the potassium ions and sodium. So look at the composition. You will have sugar. You have carbohydrates. Most of them are sugar. It gives you energy. Okay. Fiber a little bit. Protein, salt, sodium, magnesium, calcium, potassium. Whereas for the ORS, it's just pure. Pure this sodium and salt and all this magnesium and all that. They don't add in the sugar. And of course, there's no fizziness. There's no gas, which is good for the tummy. All right. For isotonic drink, if you're not feeling well, all right, your tummy is upset, don't try to drink isotonic drink. The gas will make it worse. So what you can do is if you have no other choice, no ORS, okay, there are people who have suggested you take the isotonic drink, but you have to remove the gas. You sort of stir it, all right, you remove all the gas and then you slowly sip it. You just want the contents only. You don't need the gas. So you remove all the gases, all right? If you have no choice, of course the best is always ORS. No gas, no sugar. All right, just the garam, or we call the salt. Okay, now why do you need to replenish this? Now, lack of sodium will cause muscle cramps. Okay, so you have seen a lot of marathoners or runners after they finish an intensive event, they might even have some muscle cramps. It's because they have lost sodium. So lack of sodium can cause muscle cramps. Another ion or metabolite that will also cause what they call problems if you have lack of it, it will be potassium, because potassium is needed for muscle contraction. So you have abnormal heart rhythm, because heart is also cardiac muscle. It needs this potassium for contraction, and of course muscle weakness contraction is not happening efficiently. Okay, so that's why you need to make sure you replenish your ions, or we call it electrolytes. Okay, and this will be, of course, the concentration will be equal to the concentration of your body fluids. Okay, your interstitial fluids, and also your blood plasma. Okay, next one, saline, number 4. Saline solution is actually basically salt water. All right. So sure some of you are people. Are you familiar with this bottle? If you wear contact lenses, I'm sure this is very familiar to you. You need to have this to wash your contact lenses. All right. You need to take it off. You need to put into the contact lens casing, and you need to have special solution to immerse your contact lenses. You can't put pipe water, right? Because it's not of the same concentration. So you put into saline solution and you immerse the contact lens so that it doesn't dry up. Okay, it won't shrink. So this one, this is your saline solution. All right. This is now you see this in hospitals, bottles of this. So whenever you are not well, we cannot eat and all that, you see all these patients, they will have to have drips. See all this? These are actually saline solution. Okay, and a little bit of glucose, right? Because the patient cannot eat, so you got to give them energy, you got to give them glucose and saline so that it will replenish, okay, whatever nutrients that are removed during the, your excretion. Okay, so saline solutions are normally used in medicine, right? They are isotonic to the blood plasma. So same concentration with your body fluids. Okay, now this one you have a number that you have to remember. This you need to know. What is the isotonic concentration of our blood plasma? So it should be 0.85 to 0.90 gram of sodium chloride per 100 ml. That means 100 ml of your blood should have 0.85 to 0.9 grams of sodium chloride. That would be considered normal. Okay? Or if you convert into percentage, it will be 0.85% to 0.90. So this is a figure that you must remember. Okay, because if any question asks you this kind of figure, then you should know immediately. You should recognize that this is an isotonic solution. Okay, in terms of sodium chloride, I'm not talking about sucrose. So this number is only for sodium chloride. Okay, so normal saline solution, all these will have salt concentration that is similar to your tears. These are your body fluids, your tears, the blood plasma, and other body fluids. Okay, your lymph and everything, all your liquid in your body will have the same concentration with the saline solution. Okay, so next, all right, number 5, liposome. Right, liposome. You've heard the word ribosome, right? Ribosome is naturally inside. This is the organelle in the cell that produces protein. Okay, but we have liposome. Now, liposome is vesicles, very small vesicles that can be manufactured. They can be man-made. Okay, that contain aqueous solution. Aqueous solution is a solution that is soluble in water, okay, and is surrounded by phospholipid bilayer membrane. Okay, if you recognize this diagram here, you see it's a vesicle. You see a round thing is a vesicle. It's like a lompang. They call it like a little sac, that SAC sac. So you see this looks like the phospholipid bilayer structure, correct? You will see the we call it the hydrophobic heads facing the outer side, and the hydrophilic heads facing the outer side, and the hydrophobic tail facing the inside. Okay, so you have this double this phospholipid bilayer enclosing certain things inside. So what are the things that you want to put inside? So these are the things that you want to protect. Okay, so the liposome actually protects these things. Usually are substances. It could be medicine, it could be drugs. All right, drugs means medicine lah. All right, don't call it drug as in dada. Right, it gives you the very negative impression. Drugs just means medicine. All right, that is used to, you want to deliver into your body. So if you take it by the you ingest it, if you go through the mouth and all that, you see all this medicine can be destroyed by your gastric juices. Okay, because this medicine usually are water soluble. They are water soluble drugs, right? And then in your stomach, you have water, you have acid and that. It can be affected by the substances in your stomach. It can be destroyed. So it will not be so effective later when it's been destroyed, when it enters your blood system through your venous and all that. When it goes to your body cell, it may not be that effective because it's been altered, either hydrolyzed or it could have been oxidized. So now we have this liposome to contain it. So if it is water-soluble drugs, you will have it inside the middle part. If it is water insoluble, that means it is fat soluble, we will have it in the hydrophobic area. So whatever it is, the substance that you want to deliver into your body cell, it is protected by this thing called liposome. Okay? So in this way, these drugs or this medicine or the substance that you want to bring inside your body, it can reach the target cell faster and unaffected by whatever acids or whatever substances that comes along. So you can see here, this is the liposome, all right? And then when it reaches your body cell, now this is the cell, you see it merges, the layer of this phospholipid bilayer, it merges together with the your phospholipid bilayer of the cell, and the substance is released inside. Okay, look at this GIF, the animation. Okay, you see that? So it just like stops halfway there. So what actually happens here is like this. Okay, it just delivers, it merges the layers there, right? And then it will sort of like join up, fuse together, all right? And then you will find the substance will be able to deliver into the cell effectively without being altered or changed. All right, okay, so this is a new concept. Even in your KBSM syllabus, this was not in the syllabus. All right, something new. Now, this question came out in the recent SPM. Okay, question 2, last question. Always the last question is something on KBAT. So they give you question is on medicine, not medicine, cosmetic product. In cosmetics, they use a lot of this liposome, which also known as nanosphere. Okay, nano because they're very small. This vesicle is very, very small. It's microscopic. All right, you can generate it by sort of like shaking it. This is like emulsion. Your oil and water, you shake it, then you'll find these little droplets. All right, but they will separate lah because you didn't put emulsifier. So this one, liposome, is used to deliver, all right, cosmetic products to the inner skin layer. So this was a question that came out recently. All right, question 2, C or D lah. That was the last part here. So it is to protect whatever substance it is so that it can be delivered very quickly, very effectively to the cell. So you're more effective lah, the substance. Okay, so this is the function of liposome, to protect, okay, certain substances from being digested, from being destroyed or altered by your system or whatever, your acid or reducers, if you take it orally. So it's delivered better, faster, more efficiently to your body cells. Okay, now lastly, reverse osmosis. Okay, so reverse osmosis, I'm sure when you buy your drinking water, they don't put mineral water. So remember that actually drinking water and mineral water are two different things. Mineral water, they will put mineral inside. There will be this, whatever, sodium, magnesium, iron, whatever lah. Of course, mineral water will be slightly more expensive lah, right, than just drinking water. And you see these words RO. When you see RO, what is RO water? RO water actually refers to the reverse osmosis. Okay, you have learned osmosis before. Osmosis is a process whereby you have more water, the region that's got more water will move to the region that has less water through a semi-permeable membrane or a selectively permeable membrane. Okay, so from hypotonic to hypertonic, this is without energy. This is following the natural law, all right, where more water will flow to less water. But now you want to produce pure water. All right, I've got dirty water, let's say. I've got salt water. I've got water mixed with mud. I've got water mixed with soil, with a lot of impurities. Okay, excuse me. So all these things, I wanted to go over the plasma membrane, or not plasma membrane, the selectively permeable membrane. I wanted to go over to the other side, to the pure water side. Okay, so reverse osmosis is a technology that is commonly used to extract or to make or to produce fresh water from seawater. It can be dirty water, not always sea. It can be water from the lake, water from the longkang or whatever that is dirty. You can use this method to produce pure water. Okay, so this process is, if it's using seawater, we call it desalination. That means you remove the salt. All right, now see what happens. How do you use it? Now look at the left and the right hand side. A is left, B is right. Now if you look at this system, if I leave this system to be as it is, you notice A has got salt. All right, got salt and there is water. But you see that this solution is hypertonic because there is a lot of salt, right? And there's less water, right? On the right hand side, the B side, you notice it's only pure water. So this is definitely hypotonic, all right? So if you leave the system as it is, naturally the water will move from B to A. Correct or not? As you learn from osmosis. So B is where you have more water. A is where you have less water. So the B will move to A naturally without doing any process. The water will move over because the selectively permeable membrane has got very small holes, tiny pores. Water can pass through. Okay. Now at the same time, A will try to go to B, which is the salt, the foreign particles, the microorganisms, the sand, the silt, the mud, and all that. because this one got more. It will try to move over to the other side to the B, but it's unable to, because this selectively permeable membrane has got very tiny pores that only allow water to go through. So only water can move from B to A, but the salt cannot move from A to B. All right. Now I want this to happen. I want water to move from A to B. All right, because I'm trying to make pure water. I'm trying to make water that is clean. I want to push the water over here from A to B. Okay. Now no worries, your salt will not be able to go through. You have to push the water. You need pressure. That's why when you talk about reverse osmosis, you have to apply pressure. When you apply pressure from the side that has got a lot of foreign particles and salt, the pressure will push the water through. So you can see, because of the selectively permeable membrane, only the water will be able to pass through. All right, of course you have to push up. If you don't push up, B will go to A. But if you apply pressure, B will not be able to pass through A. The water from B will not pass through A. But on the other hand, water from A will be able to go to B. Okay, so the water will be pushed in through the selectively permeable membrane. So when you talk about reverse osmosis, you must remember, say the word pressure, because without pressure, your reverse osmosis will not happen. Without pressure, your water will move from B to A instead, according to osmosis. Okay, so now I do not want water to move from B to A, because I want to make more of the pure water. So I want my water that is dirty. I only want the water from A to be pushed over to move to B. Okay, there's no worry about pushing the salt over, because the selectively permeable membrane has got very, very tiny holes, tiny pores. The foreign particles cannot pass through. Okay, now some more. All right, a little bit more. Right, so this membrane, all right, allows water molecules to pass through it, but not foreign particles, salt, and microorganisms. All that doesn't pass through. Okay, so you can see here there are very, very tiny pores. Of course, this is just a diagram only lah. Okay, representation. So even if you push pressure, you apply pressure, the salt, the microorganisms, the foreign particles cannot pass through. You're only making the water go only from A to B. So you will find the fresh water will accumulate on the B side. Okay, more water will be moving from A to B. So now you got fresh water. So this side the water will increase. Because you're applying pressure here, and all this water can pass through, not the solutes, not the salt. So here your water will rise up. So you are making more and more pure water if you apply pressure. So remember, you have to say you have to apply pressure. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You're not going to have any reverse osmosis. Okay, clear? So that's why we call reverse osmosis, because it's the opposite of osmosis. If it's osmosis, B will move to A. All right? You don't do anything, water will move from fresh water, it will go to this side. That is osmosis. Now you reverse it by applying pressure. Your water is moving from A to B. Okay, clear? All right. So now, the RO water is produced on the side that is not applied pressure. So the side that is not applied pressure, your water will accumulate. Then later you will just extract it and you put into bottles and you sell it off as drinking water, or we call it RO water. All right, so it's very cheap. You know, this kind of station that you put 10 cents inside there, you will get 100 ml. You know, all this station, you just bring your bottle along. You just insert a 10-cent coin there, you get 10 cents for 100 ml. Then if you put 50 cents, you will get 5 liter. That one, you know, the oil one. You buy the oil in big drums on that one. You get that. It's very cheap because the entire system is inside that machine there. All right, you can buy water. You call it, people say buy water. For Chinese, it doesn't sound so good. Buy water. Okay, right. So I finished with the lesson. All the 6 applications I will already explain. All right, so we have a little bit of time, so I've prepared some 3 questions for you. All right, 3 questions for you just to test based on chapter 3, what you've learned so far. They're not difficult, they're very simple actually. Okay, so let's look at question 1. All right, I give you some time. Maybe if any one of you just type your answer there, you can try. Okay, let's look at this. The following statement refers to the movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So look at the features here. Transports large-sized water-soluble molecules against the concentration gradient. Requires transport protein. So what is this process? A, B, C, and D. Okay, so anyone wants to try? All right. If not, nobody wants to try. I don't know who you are. Right? I'll just have to give you the answer lah. But of course, if you try, then it's like you're really working your brain lah. All right, you're making your brains work. Any answers? All right. I don't know whether Haras is here today. I don't think so. If not, if he is here, he will probably say hi. All right. No question and no answers. Yeah. No answers. Then no choice lah. All right. I have to give you answer lah, because otherwise your siaran, I cannot finish my work. Will be on for don't know how long. Okay, so this one, I give you the clue lah. Against the concentration gradient. Against the concentration gradient, there's only mean one thing on it. It's only one thing, one kind of transport, which is, anybody? Last chance? Anybody? Last chance? Nobody. Okay. Transport. Active transport. Against the concentration gradient, no need to think already. Tak payah fikir. It is always active transport. If it's along the concentration gradient, it could be osmosis, simple diffusion, or facilitated diffusion, right? But if it requires transport protein, it has definitely to be facilitated diffusion along concentration gradient. Down the concentration gradient requires transport protein will be C. But because against, it has got to be D. Is active. Okay, clear. Next one, yeah? Okay, question 2. Look at this. This looks like bits of soil, and this is actually the root hair cell. You must recognize that this is root hair cell. If the question gives you this type. Okay, one cell with the extended cytoplasm out like that. All right, that is the root hair cell. So X is the substance going inside. Okay, the diagram here shows the process of absorption of X substance into the root hair cell. So X is the substance. All right, I'm not telling you what it is. So it goes into the root hair cell, and look at the characteristic. This process does not require energy. Does not require energy. So what is the X substance? Okay, options: water, oxygen, glucose, sodium ion. All right, any questions? Any answers? All right, I think maybe you're not too sure, right? So you dare not make mistakes. It's okay actually. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. You learn more by making mistakes, because once you make mistakes, you always remember. Okay, I learned it the hard way, and I know I will not make the same mistake again. All right, but because if you don't try, you may think that you know, but actually you don't know. All right, so let me see. Okay, the answer is A. All right, let me just see your answer. Let me just check. Very good, A. Okay, now what gives you the answer A? Okay, number 1, does not require energy. Definitely cannot be active transport. It has to be passive transport. So active transport is only for sodium ion. So this is active transport. Okay, so it cannot be D lah. If it requires energy, then the answer must be ion. It requires energy. So this one, this 3 here, oxygen you will not be absorbing through the root. So B is out. Oxygen is through the stoma, from the leaves. Glucose also you will not absorb, because plant makes glucose through photosynthesis. Plant don't absorb glucose. All right, they make their own food. So the only answer has got to be water. All right, water is absorbed into the root hair cell. This is through osmosis. Osmosis does not require energy. Okay, all right, very good. Next one. Who's another person who gave me an answer? Chin Wei Yi. Oh, okay, Wei Yi. I think it's the Wei Yi from my school, right? Is that? Okay. Okay, good. A, very good. Okay, now last question. Okay, I didn't have time to do more. Actually, I had more questions, but I was actually didn't really prepare enough. I should have given you more questions. But anyway, I'm sure a teacher in school will be able to guide you, all right? They will give you a lot of questions. If you ask them, they'll be too happy to give you questions and let you do. Okay, question 3. Diagram below shows the condition of a cell before and after immersion in solution P. Okay, so before and after, look at the condition. This is before and this is after. You should recognize the difference. You see here what happens here? The cell, we call it the plasma membrane, has pulled away. And you can see the size of this vacuole has shrunk. So these are the 2 indications. If they ask you why you call it, it happened, whatever process happened, then you say what you can see from there. Always question answer if it's based on the diagram. When it's based on the diagram, make sure you always look at the diagram and explain the answer from the diagram. It must be from the diagram. What can be seen? Okay, what can be seen from the diagram? Then they want the answer based on the diagram. Okay, so here's the question. What is solution P? And what is the process involved? Okay, sorry, the BM I didn't change. Right? Actually, I prepared in BM, lah, right? It's just that I had a class last Monday. I did it in BM. If you want to look at my full questions, I've got 6 questions there. You go over to my one of the classes, the IU, we call it live tuition. All right. Then you look at the end of the video, I've got the 6 questions here. It's just that I didn't have time to translate all. I've only managed to do 3. Okay, so what's the question solution P? And what's the process involved? Okay, see, anyone can try. Wei Yi, maybe probably. Wait, Hodiha. Only, teacher, active transport only use specific carrier protein, isn't it? Yes, yes, they are specific. For active transport, they only use specific protein. So in this question, they didn't specify what specific lah. So you can just say they are not. They don't. I need to ask you what type of specific protein there is. You just need to know. You just need to know there is specific protein. You just want to know what are they transporting. Okay, so if it's specific protein, it will be ions. So ion, sodium ion, they have their own transport protein. Potassium ion will have their own transport protein. Okay, so no need to specify what type of specific protein, as long as you know there is specific for active transport. Okay, answer. Howdiha, you have A. Okay, so hypertonic, all right, and then the process is called, process involved is, yes, very good. All right, if you can do that, yeah, you can answer it correctly, yes. Hypertonic because it has shrunk. All right, outside it must be a solution that is more concentrated. So the water came out from the cytoplasm, therefore the volume decreased and it shrunk away, it pulled away from the cell wall. Okay, that's why the volume becomes smaller, water came out. So it must be hypertonic. And the process of shrinking the plasma membrane, I mean, not plasma membrane, the cytoplasm is called plasmolysis. Okay, very good. All right. So if you want to see the entire another 3 more questions, of course, it's the BM. I think you'll be able to understand. You go through my another video. I just had it last Monday, just a few days ago. All right. I have all 6 questions there. You can try it out. All right. At that time, I was very, very rushed also. So maybe you want to pause it because I give answer as well. I just flash because we are running out of time. Okay. I flash. You want to try, you just pause it and try it yourself before you play it again to see the answer. Okay, all right. For first question, okay, but this is also correct lah. Okay, so happen is correct also. Okay, all right. So students, thank you very much for watching. Today is a very short lesson. So next week I hope to start chapter 4 lah. All right. So just stay with me if you want to learn more about biology, and it's an easy way to learn it. You can always ask me questions, and always welcome to Telegram me if you want lah. Right? I'll just put my Telegram name here if you would like me to help you in any way. Okay, I'll try my best. Okay, everyone, thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, bye bye. See ya. Bye bye.